But this is what's so interesting about spirit, right? Like I could not get hired. And I have degrees.
Yeah.
I'm not without, but no one would hire me. Thank you so much for the red light. Like they didn't keep me there.
Yeah.
And I wound up finding a coach at that time because I needed to get realigned.
Yes.
Right. My alignment was telling me to act from fear, to act from lack, to act from what wouldn't be possible. Right. Oh, how could I ever? He didn't want to live in California. And that was like a dream of mine.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that I learned to kind of really come back into alignment and see the things, because sometimes intuition is going to tell you stuff that you're like,
everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. I could not be more excited to introduce you to our beautiful guest today. This is Stephanie Zito, and Stephanie is the creator of the Luminary Method. She's also an intuitive purpose coach, and she's been doing this for over 20 years in the personal development industry. So welcome, first off. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here with you.
I know. We get to actually be in person
it's
now.
finally time.
Yes. After years and years and years of being connected on social media, we actually get to meet today. So this is super exciting, and I love it because it's going to be a real authentic conversation.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
It's not like we had to prepare or we couldn't
no
prepare.
prep.
We have no prep. But anyway, I'm excited to just flow.
Same.
So I'd like to start with just having you introduce yourself, but not as what you do, because I've kind of already done that, but more so who you are at your core.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think I'm a person who I really enjoy seeing people thriving and lit from within. And to me, what that means is, you're following your passion, you're in alignment with your purpose, you're making decisions that really radiate with you, and there's like this amplification of energy for you and for others around you. And I feel very fulfilled when I'm around people like that, and I'm in situations like that, and I try to live my life in that way, in a way where I and my family were manifesting. It's really delightful to see what unfolds, right?
Yeah.
Allow ourselves to be kind of guided, I'd say, from something greater than ourselves, whether you call that God or universe or whatever you want to call that, and just allow ourselves to be delighted by what's possible.
Yeah. Just having that very curious and receptive energy in a sense. And so would you say that you had that from a young age?
Yeah, I think when I was young, I had the imaginary friends, and I have been always very intuitive.
Yeah.
It's just, I think we all have that gift. It's just a matter of how much we're,
tapping into
it. Exactly. And I really could read my mom's mind, and she would tell me, like, don't tell me what I'm thinking, but I would know. And I think I just really delighted in just exploring. I grew up in the 80s, so I got to go out in the woods with my friends all day.
Wow.
No cell phone.
Totally
come
different
home
world.
for dinner.
Yeah.
It was a lot of just free range childhood.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ah, my honey's from Pittsburgh.
Oh, very
yeah.
good. Is he a Steelers fan?
Of course.
Of course. You can't not be a Steelers fan.
No matter how bad they are.
It doesn't matter. Nobody cares how bad
they had a good run, though, recently. So I'm not a big football person, but I like to sound like I am.
You sounded like you are. I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that.
So you got to run around, free reign, have this free childhood, totally different world, right? Was actually safe. Funny enough, I grew up in New York City.
Oh.
I also had free reign, but that's because I had a very young mother and, I was slick. But it was definitely a different world. And I think also back then, everybody was their keeper. Everyone was the keeper. Everyone knows, even in a big city like New York City, that's so-and-so's daughter, right? And they look out for each other.
Definitely.
So how did that shape your way of being in regard to your curiosity, your openness, your ability to try new things.
Yeah, I think, well, even not only that, but my dad had the opportunity to have us move to France for a year when I was 6.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, world travel will change you.
So I think not only that, but then my mom, she had the wherewithal, which I really appreciate. You know, I resisted. I didn't want to go live in France at 6. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't want to learn a different language, and they almost didn't go because I was so resistant. And I'm so grateful to them to have the foresight to make it happen. Not only that, but also to send me back to visit friends on an airline by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and to be able to adventure like that and have the confidence to be in new places, I feel very much at home when I travel really anywhere I go. And I think going to the Peace Corps was part of that. You know, I really learned to be in a variety of cultures in a way that I can navigate. I don't know what the things signs say, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just a sense that there's always someone who's going to be there to help you. I've had such experiences by saying yes, intuitively saying yes to things.
Yes.
Like I've been invited to, you know, an Ethiopian wedding or like just in India to someone's palace. I mean, I was like, I'm either going to get murdered or this is going to be great.
Right.
And it wound up being great.
Well, but you have an inner knowing. You trust yourself. You trust spirit to put you in the right place at the right time with the right people.
Exactly.
Is what I feel from you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
that. I love that. And you have a light. So it's funny you speak of the light within. Some people have always told me I have this light as well. I do believe it's our energy. It's our aura. And I do believe it's something that we're born with. Maybe it can be cultivated. I don't know, but everybody has their own light. But I think that those of us who have certain spiritual gifts naturally really illuminate.
Right.
And I feel like you're one of these people. So take us on the path, because you are an intuitive purpose coach and you're not like just born one day and you wake up as a child and say, I'm going to be an intuitive purpose coach. So how did this happen? How did this come about? When did you realize you had actual gifts? Tell me about that journey.
I would say that I started to understand what my gifts meant when I'm going to try to make this story really succinct. Okay, I'm really going to try.
We got all day.
I'm like,
No, I'm just
okay, where do we start? Back in 1842.
Right.
You know, some people, like, they get visited by people or things like that, right, in terms of their intuition. But I think for me, when I was in the Peace Corps in Uganda, I had a Peace Corps friend who was much older than me. I was like 22, like fresh out of like the bed, you know, and she was in her 60s and had the white hair. And I was really fascinated by her. Her name was Jane Shreyas. She has since passed. However, you know, the beauty is that we took some time and then we kind of rekindled our friendship at a certain point, and she came to she gave a blessing at our wedding. She came around when our daughter was born, and she told me even before that, when I was in a place that I was not making good choices for myself, that she's like, you're intuitive and you are going to use your intuition in your world and in your life and in your work. And I literally laughed. I think I laughed out loud. I was like, that's hilarious. Okay. Yeah. And I think what happened was, you know, once I started to really align with my truth and my path, and out of the resistance of what I didn't believe or didn't think was possible for me, I made decisions that made my life move very quickly. You know, I moved to California not knowing the outcome, leaving a relationship that I thought I needed to like fight for.
Yes.
But when I let go of that, when I relinquished that, I wound up meeting my husband and getting my dream job and starting my yoga teacher training. Everything kind of happened like one after the other. And that was the first that I kind of started to line up like, wait a second, like belief with outcome. Yeah. Even more so than like forcing things. And then once my daughter was born, I started to shift into my career. You know, I was staying at home. I was my husband was so gracious to really...
The new husband.
Yes. Well, I've only been married once, but I was just leaving...
The new partner, first husband.
Yeah, relationship.
Current love of your life.
Current love, yes. This one, yes, this good one. And I just knew I wanted to coach. But honestly, I just didn't know how to market myself. I didn't know how to make it work. But I just knew that was the path. And I wound up serendipitously going to this event and meeting my first coach.
Okay.
And it was called Lightning in the Bottle.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay, it was like a festival.
Yes.
I'd never, anyway, it was like a new thing for me. And anyway, just serendipitously, he helped me become a coach. And what was interesting is I just didn't know what to call myself, right? All these like crazy woo-woo things, chakras. And so I became a speaker's coach, which is very tangible, very outcome driven. And the funny thing is, everyone who came to coach with me, we didn't do speaking at all.
Yeah.
We got into like the nitty gritty, the baseline. And along the way, I knew there was a quicker way to get to the heart of what was blocking people or was next for people. And so this training fell into my lap, which was this, it was an energy scan training. So using the chakras, which I already knew about through yoga, to scan people's energy. And so I just trusted and I just went into it, letting my ego go to the side if I was wrong or wasn't doing it right. And sure enough, like things were coming through that I was like, I kept having this caveat. This is going to sound crazy, but this is what I see for you. Yeah, it would be this complete hit for people. And I think I really started to lean into that when COVID hit, and I started to put some meditations on this app called Insight Timer.
Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've used it before.
Yeah, and there was now this ability to go live on Insight Timer. So I would go live and do readings for people, and all you could see is maybe their name or some name and their avatar or some symbol. I don't know who they are, but I could just read them. And I feel like, and so then I started my own membership and with intuition. It was just being in the practice of it, being in the practice of releasing my my ego daily, weekly. I think it just helped. It just started to explode. Like one thing after the other started to develop.
Yeah.
So
I love this because I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
But you are a living, breathing model of what I speak of on a daily basis. Moving from hustle to harmony, right?
Oh, good.
You are aligned. You trusted yourself. You trusted spirit. You knew what you were shooting to create, but you didn't worry about the how. You didn't worry about being perfect. You just kind of let go. You became receptive, and the path was laid for you.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
And saying, you give me chills, and saying yes at times where you have to say, when I went to that event, our baby was young, and I felt a little guilty. I felt some mom guilt, you know, and luckily my husband was like, just go, we got this. And, you know, I'm so grateful for saying, it's this balance of saying yes to me, knowing how that's going to help our family blossom also.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that makes me think about. One is high achieving women, but women in general, we do struggle with the guilt and all of the societal conditioning and what we should and shouldn't be. That's part of my system, the Anatomy of Abundance framework. Part of that is identifying what those disempowering stories, habits, beliefs are, and people in your life that is kind of keeping you stuck in you know, whether it's a life or an identity or a role. And then either reframing that or removing that from your life so that you can be liberated to live as the truth of who you are. So that's the first thing. The second thing I find interesting is that you said that you started off as a speaking coach. And I would say that if your work is primarily with women, our third chakra, the voice, right? Our ability to communicate is actually probably, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but probably one of the most common blocked areas is our voice. So I don't think it's an accident that you started off as a speaking coach.
Ooh, I love that. It's like actually the first time that I've actually connected it that way. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And so the women who are coming to you may have been coming for one thing, but spirit knew what they actually need.
Exactly.
Wow.
Right.
That's
Well,
so cool.
What's interesting about all of this too is that I feel like I've really learned through my own growth, and again, before moving to California, before meeting my husband, I had met someone else, a different person, and had moved to Kentucky.
Wow, didn't see that coming.
Well, we've had some curves in the road where the guys are like, "Here you go," and then they're going off this way. They're like, "Wait a second, what are you doing?" So, and what's interesting about that is, I could start to see some red flags, but I was just so determined that this was love. And, I was getting to be like in my early 30s and I was like, what am I doing?
Yes.
So make this work. And so Louisville, it was great. The food was great. Some great music. But this is what's so interesting about Spirit, right? Like I could not get hired. And I have degrees.
Yeah.
I'm not without, but no one would hire me. Thank you so much for the red light. Like they didn't keep me there.
Yeah.
And I wound up finding a coach at that time because I needed to get realigned.
Yes.
Right. My alignment was telling me to act from fear, to act from lack, to act from what wouldn't be possible. Right. Oh, how could I ever? He didn't want to live in California. And that was like a dream of mine.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that I learned to kind of really come back into alignment and see the things. Because sometimes intuition is going to tell you stuff that you're like, I didn't want to know that.
Yeah.
Like when intuition told me like I need to leave, I was like, I don't want to hear that.
Right. Because you thought you had got the thing.
Right.
Like I have the thing.
It was
I have the
supposed to be the
relationship.
thing.
Like the picture that I had of my life is it's happening. So what do you mean I'm doing this?
Right. Yeah. And I had these beliefs like that no one else would ever love me after this. Like I had these beliefs that I couldn't make it in California. I had all these limiting beliefs. And so this dovetails into this Luminary Method, which is this lit from within, because my light was not lit. I was crying all the time. I couldn't sleep at night. He would buy me melatonin. And I'm like, that's not, that's a different issue than melatonin. But what we have to do first is really get that clarity, right? And once we have that, and this is what I find is why, women can move very quickly with this Luminary Method. And I'm sure with your Anatomy of Abundance too, because that clarity, like, well, now we know. Now we get to make decisions from what we know.
Exactly.
And usually when we're going to up level, right? We're going to go from this level, this frequency of like, okay, I'm here, I'm living life, it's safe, even though I hate it, but it's safe. Cruising. But when we know, well, I'm meant to coach, I'm meant to quit my job, I'm meant to write this book. Clearly, because we're going to up level, we're going to leave behind a bunch of stuff that doesn't serve anymore. And we're going to leave behind those limiting beliefs.
Things we may have fought for.
Right.
To your point.
Totally. Yeah, we fought for that limiting belief.
Like, wait, what? I'm going to abandon it now?
Stood by this limiting belief. And for me, I have like sobbed, kind of grieving the person who I was. Even this past year, like leaving behind the person who, like, I love her, right? And yet, I'm not the same person sitting here that I was even like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
But
isn't that how it should be? Like we should constantly be evolving.
I would think so.
I believe so.
I would think so. And I think I would venture to guess the majority of us want to do that. And I think that a lot of times, whether it's society telling a woman when you're in school to sit down and raise your hand and to be to not make a big fuss and to not make a big noise and that you're
not heard,
right, being disrupted, exactly, right, right, or you're supposed to be in this role, or you're supposed to go a certain way, and you're not supposed to do this, right? So the next phase is clearing, right, because we're going to have. I love when these things show up, right? Because we know we can clear them. We're going to. And we can clear them at a very deep energetic level because they go deeper than mindset. They go deeper even than the subconscious. Like they live in our frequency. Yeah. And then we can move into co-creation with the universe. It's where
those are the 3 steps.
Yeah, those are the 3 steps.
Okay, so awareness or clarity, as you called it, clearing, CC, and then what's the last one?
I like the alliteration. I had to find one. I was like, look at the third one.
Well, so, CC so far, clarity.
Right, the co-creation with the universe.
There you go, triple C method.
Yes,
the Luminary Method.
Yes.
Right? Clarity. Clearing, and co-creation
with God, universe. Yes,
I love it. It's so simple and beautiful, actually, and it is in essence what you've got to do in every situation when you bump up against yourself or when you get out of alignment.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see. So I wanted to find out from you. I kind of offered that my hunch would be that the third chakra, the stagnation in the voice was a big one. But are there any other common energy blocks that you see consistently in women?
Yes, it's definitely. Gosh, well, now that I think about it, yeah,
Hips too.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, like so many women complain about hip joint issues, but the thing is like, well, if that's happening, where have we forgotten about our like lusciousness,
Right.
or where have we been taught, right?
The juiciness.
Yeah, the juiciness. Yeah, right. And like that's the magnetism, whether it's eating some like luscious fruit or smelling some delicious scent or just treating ourselves just so well. It's really just allowing ourselves to be, this space of creation. Like we are like the divine creators.
Exactly.
Right.
It's our femininity, right?
Yes.
It's our natural state of being.
Yes.
Right? Sensual and feminine and flowy. And we've been taught, I believe, taught and kind of forced into this very masculine system, which is why we break down, right? That's why we burn out, because we're proving and we're forcing and we're pushing and
Well, and I would love to kind of bring to the surface in this conversation and even entertain or bring curiosity to those listening right here. In what way can we bring more of that feminine essence into our world together, right?
Yes.
When you look at like this tiered structure of masculinity, right? There's, well, I need to listen to the expert. I need to get another degree to do this.
Yeah.
It's not true. There's everything. I just read this recently. There's some new study. It's like, well, of course, like we already knew this, but that's now saying that our consciousness isn't individual. It is a collective consciousness that we are now tapping into. And so I think of these things that we think of, like the birth of this book or the birth of this method, or things that I've tapped into that literally just exist. Now I'm just tapping into it. I didn't need to learn it from someone else. I didn't need to get certified in it. I'm going into the Akashic records, our soul's library. I was doing that before I knew that was what it was called.
Yeah.
Moving energy. There's different names for it, or even Reiki, but it's just it's available.
Yes.
So I think there's this sense of, with the feminine, we are moving away from this like tiered structure, or this idea that we have to compete and we have to grind, right? Into this place where, if we take that, we put it on its side, like everyone is sort of in this equal space, and we're rising together because we are moving in a circle. We're like listening and, receiving, and how beautiful to kind of bring that energy to a brighter light into our universe. We're
coming back into stasis, right? As a collective.
Yeah.
And that, what is it? The modern woman will save the world, right?
Yes.
Paraphrasing, of course.
Absolutely.
But that's what's happening. There's a natural uprising of women who are coming back to themselves.
Yes.
And coming together to uplift the entire like energetics of the world. So,
this to me is why it's so
yummy.
important for women to, understand that these fears are completely natural. And some of these fears, they're not even individual. They literally come from society to begin with. Like they don't belong to you or me. Yeah. They come from this thing that's been told to us, or it's just been like in the air, right? That we breathe. So when we recognize that, we realize, oh, that's just, okay, that's normal for me to feel this. I get to move through this. I get to not let the how doesn't have to stop us. We just have to understand, well, what's the next step? Who's going to show up in my path? What's going to become available to me? What am I going to see? I mean, look, our phones are listening to us. You want to manifest
all the time.
You just get talking to your phone. It's going to give you back exactly what you need to take your next step.
I agree. That's so interesting. And also, it was making me think too about our bodies and the connection, the energetic connection between women specifically. The more that we kind of put ourselves or function in that masculine space, the sickness that we experience, right? I find that when you're in the flow, when you're connected, when you're aligned, and when you're moving in that more feminine way, you get less of that sickness. And I don't know if that has something to do with energetics.
I would venture to think that we both agree it does.
Yeah, I would say.
I mean, I think
stuck
about
energy.
right, because so much of what you're talking about, it gets so heady, and we're so operating just from this prefrontal cortex, and yet so much of our wisdom, like our gut knowing, even if it's like, you know what, I think I need to take another beat before I go at this traffic light. Like we just have this inner knowing.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yes.
Or, listening to what wants to be voiced, or this is a beautiful exercise I love taking my groups through, is just even going through the chakras around the decision and asking like, what would love do? Right. From your place of highest power, if everything were to work out, what would be your next step? Right. If you had that trust, right? Like leaning into those areas. And I think what happens is we literally just reduce our own cortisol level by moving into this space of natural, deeper trust and listening to the body. Because the body is going to try to talk to us through our illness if we're not listening to it to begin with.
I love this. See, all this stuff fascinates me so much. So I want to understand from your perspective the difference between chasing and aligning, because we're talking a lot about alignment. What would you say is the difference on an energetic, intuitive realm, from that?
Well, let's say it's these milestones, these markers of like, whether it's like 6 figures or people talk about a certain amount per month, or chasing love. All of that feels like, well, I don't trust. If I need to chase, I don't trust. And also this feeling of chasing, well, when can I ever really reach it? I just feel like it's always a little bit out in front.
Something. The flagpole keeps moving.
Right, which it kind of does anyway.
Well, naturally.
That's because we love it, and we're in, and we're like ready for that next level. And then chasing versus, what was the other word you were bringing? Aligning. Oh, this is so good. So chasing is this idea of if we think of everything has energy, which means everything has a frequency, right? Like this chair is made of molecules, made of energy. There's an energetic frequency for every single thing, every single emotion. There's scientists that have studied this, right? The optimal health of the liver has a certain frequency, right? The optimal health of the throat has a certain frequency. We know this. There's frequency of abundance. So if I'm chasing it, my sense is like we are on different frequencies. We're not talking the same language, right?
Yes.
So when we are in alignment, this is like the key. You want a key to unlock stuff? Like this is, you are now aligning yourself with that frequency. Imagine that. So how do we do that? Is through other things we talk about. It could be, different levels of manifesting. Like these actually different levels. Like affirmations are actually, this is my 2 cents, a lower level of manifesting.
Okay. Yes.
Because we are just working with the mindset. We're just working with the prefrontal cortex. We think that we can kind of master the mind and we'll get there. The next level would be like, well, now I'm aligned with soul.
Yes.
There's like this, and your body will help you get there. Listen to your body, it'll show you the way. When we're aligned with soul, right, then we can kind of match with what the soul is desiring. It just becomes this higher level of frequency. Like if you can see it, it already exists in the quantum field, and now you're just matching with it. Imagine the relaxation in your body when you're like, oh, I'm just matching with that. And you're going to find that if you have some limiting beliefs that don't match with it, cool, bring them to the surface. Let's see them, because when we can see them, we can release them. We get into the level of channel. Well, now we're in a little bit more surrender. We're in this level of there's something greater than myself that's moving through me. I can't say that I chose this. I didn't know anything other than in college than to become a teacher, which is, again, a wonderful, beautiful profession. I didn't know what was available. So it was, through the opening, through the surrender that it showed up for me. It showed up at a deeper level. I had to surrender my fears to it. And then we could say, if you're like really cooking, you might be at the level of, you're just like unconditional embodiment. Like, this is like kind of Dalai Lama, Buddha, right? We're just like, I renounce all worldly possessions. And I just
like total enlightenment.
Right. So, maybe we like,
we get as close to that as we can.
Grateful to touch on that a little bit. But I'm happy just to be at least in that place of grace and allowing the channel to flow through me.
I don't strive for Dalai Lama embodiment, but embodiment is exactly what I strive for.
I do think that some souls are chosen for that.
Yeah, maybe
that expression. I don't. My sense isn't that
still like my worldly
we have a little
luxuries.
wine.
A lot of well, maybe not a lot, but a little wine, a little and good food.
I truly believe, look, we are in this earthly embodiment because we get to enjoy the five senses. 100%. We get to enjoy a beautiful.
For me, it's part of sensuality too. Yes. It's part of living and being alive and having sensation.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it. I love the way you articulated those levels as well.
Good.
So, okay. So as we're kind of rounding out our conversation, because I could talk with you forever because you're speaking my language, I would love for you to share. Obviously, you have a lot of tools in your toolbox. You've been doing this for a long time. What would be for some of the ladies out there that might be listening, high achieving women, maybe they're feeling a bit misaligned, unfulfilled, they know something needs to shift. What would be one of your go-to energetic resets?
Yeah, I think a really simple one is, of course, always starting with taking a moment to ground, take some deeper breaths. Before you do this, or part of doing this is let yourself shake out the day or shake out whatever is ruminating up here and take a moment just to come into yourself. And whether it's about what to do next in your day or around a certain question, just to ask the question, tapping into your heart, even touching your heart and just asking, what would love do? Just understand the first thing that comes out, because you might have those other things that want to tell you immediately why you can't and it's wrong. But just allow that to be the first thing that shows up.
I love it. I really love that. Love that. Because love is one of my top 3 core values. So beautiful. Even when I'm really pissed and I want to
that's
fight
really
someone's
good.
head out, I don't think of it as what would love do, but because love is one of my top core values, I'm always leading from love.
What are your other 2?
Yeah, it's play.
Okay.
Yeah. So freedom, play, and love. Those are kind of my top 3 core values, but also my guiding principles. Like if it's not fun, if I feel stagnant or, boxed in, and if there's not a sense of I love what I'm giving, what I'm receiving, all of that, then I can't do it.
Beautiful. That's a lot of sacral chakra moving through, right? The freedom and the playfulness.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of live in my femininity in a lot of ways, but it was cultivated. It wasn't always that way. I was very perfectionist, overachiever. I mean, still recovering overachiever, but you know what I mean? I had a very masculine approach to so much and so much expectation that I got to shed. And so now that I have kind of proven to myself that it can be done, that you can shift and cultivate new ways of being, that's what I love to spotlight for women.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this has been so fun. And I want to thank you again for being here. And thank you for joining us on another episode of Living Room Wisdom. We'll have all her information in the show notes if you want to connect with her. And until then, I want you to just be inspired. Take one nugget from this conversation today and go apply it. And we'll see you next week right here. Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory.